The year is 2008, and the financial world is in freefall. But when did the titans at Goldman Sachs begin to disentangle themselves from the toxic subprime mortgage assets that fueled the crisis? To understand Goldman Sachs' exit from subprime, we need to look at the period between 2005 and 2007. During these years, the firm was heavily involved in originating, securitizing, and distributing subprime mortgage-backed securities. It profited immensely from this booming market. But as the housing bubble began to deflate, the risks associated with these assets became undeniable. So, when did they start pulling back? Well, there wasn't a single, definitive get-out moment. Evidence suggests Goldman Sachs began strategically reducing its exposure to subprime assets in earnest during 2007. This wasn't a sudden abandonment, but rather a calculated shift in strategy. The strategic decisions behind this move were multifaceted. As credit markets tightened and the underlying quality of subprime mortgages deteriorated, senior management recognized the growing systemic risk. They started to reduce their holdings in these securities, both on their balance sheet and through hedging strategies, aiming to protect the firm from further losses. The impact on Goldman Sachs was significant, though perhaps less severe than for some of their peers who held on to these assets for longer. By reducing their exposure, they navigated the worst of the crisis relatively better, though they still faced substantial write-downs and a challenging economic environment that affected their overall financial performance. In terms of reputation, the crisis undeniably cast a shadow on Goldman Sachs' proactive reduction in subprime assets may have mitigated some of the direct financial damage. The broader perception, investment banks underwriting and trading these risky instruments contributed to a decline in public trust that took years to rebuild. Understanding this timeline helps us appreciate the complex decisions made by financial institutions during one of modern history's most significant economic downturns.